All right, everybody, good morning. Welcome to Make Your Mark. I'm your host, Michael Carabio, with Landmark Title, and Happy New Year. The last time we jumped on this call, it was New Year's Eve, and it's just crazy that it's already been a week into 2026. Time truly just goes by so fast. And before we get started today, I don't have any slides. I don't really have really anything to technically give you visually, but today I just want to kind of speak what's on my mind. And so before we get started, I wanted to start by saying that just because I see this every day when I'm talking to many of the people in our industry every day, I notice that most don't struggle with marketing because they don't want to do it. They struggle with marketing because they are unsure on how to do it. And so some of the things that they don't really know how to do is they don't really know how to fully, authentically market themselves. They don't know what to post, what to create, or um, they second guess and they question what they're doing and seeing if it's even working. And so they try all these different things, and which can definitely keep you busy, but essentially doesn't ultimately mean that it is effective. And so I hear it all the time. I don't want to sound annoying or come off too salesy, right? When you're marketing, um, I feel like um, I'm doing too much, but nothing's really working. And then maybe it's I don't really know technically what works anymore because we know that the market is always ever changing. Of course, like with the new social media age, I think it's really easy to get caught up in the perspective that we see online now. And the issue isn't the effort, it's ultimately just not having a plan. And when there's no plan, marketing just can feel very, very random. I've experienced it many, many times, and it's I feel like it's really easier to experience burnout when you're kind of going off the cuff. And then when that happens, I promise you, you just will just stop showing up. And so now that we've talked about that, I think it's really important to understand how marketing actually works, because technically it's just all a big marketing cycle. It's not a big one, it's actually a small one. But I feel like every successful business, every successful marketing system typically follows the same cycle. It's people discover you, they get to know you, then they get to trust you, and hopefully they work with you. And if ultimately the experience goes exceptional, then they will refer you and they will continue working with you. And I feel like if you skip these steps, that's how you really create awkward pressure into someone wanting to work with you. But if you respect the cycle, you can really create some great trust um, with people that don't know you and that get to know you and work with you. And so here are the four steps of the cycle. The first one is attraction. I'm sure you've heard this saying. It's a popular saying nowadays. It's the attention is the new currency, and I truly believe that the more that we attract, it simply gives us more visibility. And this is how people will first come across you. So that could be in so many different avenues. Prime examples, of course, social media. It could be open houses. It could just be normal day-to-day conversations through the phone, text messages, direct messages, comments um, on different platforms. It's just seeing your name, seeing your brand consistently. Um, and so this is not where you technically sell, it's just where you need to show up, right? That's how someone can ultimately say, man, John Doe is a great marketer, right? And this doesn't have to replicate your production, because you could be a brand new agent and be a great marketer and look busier than the other agent, right? Or just anyone in general. I'm just talking as a whole, as as real estate industry in general, but um, anyone can replicate attention and building true attraction. The next step into the cycle is nurturing. It's making sure that we are staying present after someone knows that you exist. Um, but of course, before they're actually ready to use your service. And so, what this looks like, this is not like posting or marketing in a sense. It's more about touching points, right? It's more about follow up. But I truly think this is where most technically disappear, right? There's a reason why it's called there's a reason why there's this saying called there's fortune in the follow up, because not a lot of people will fortunately follow up. And so this is where most disappear. And people um, don't ghost you. It's technically just because they're not ultimately ready yet. And so when we nurture, we want to make sure that we're nurturing intentionally and not so much to try and sell, of course. Um, and the person that does this and stays helpful without that pressure is the one that ultimately gets remembered the most, right? And so the next step, which is the third step in our marketing cycle, is our conversions. And I think ultimately this is the most exciting one before we actually um, close the deal. But it's like, a hot lead. It's someone that just comes to you more natural, and that already trusts you, right? The trust has been built from the first two phases of the cycle, and that's why the best leads say, "I've been following you for a while," or I hear great things about you." Not so much coming straight from a referral, but it's from the work that you've done ultimately. And so, um, and that doesn't come from like a one-time thing, right? It doesn't come from one post or one marketing campaign. That was built directly on your consistency. And so conversion, it's being chosen. You are the person that they want to work with. They trust you, they like you. And then the last step of the cycle, it's retention, right? Maybe you already got them um, in escrow, right? You still have to retain the value and make sure that you're doing everything properly. And also after the transaction, it's where uh, after the transaction, or just in general, after they utilize your service, most stop marketing to those people, to those clients. But this is where marketing usually compounds the most, because those people already like you and trust you. And if you've done such a great job and you stay on top of mind, this is where referrals just flood. There's just a floodgates of referrals. Um, and if you give them that great experience, of course, repeat business, multiple referrals. Um, now, now that you understand the marketing cycle, the real question becomes, what can I actually do today that fits this cycle, that doesn't feel so much forced? And so instead of overwhelming you with tactics, I'll probably be saying a lot here, but I want to just give you some strategies that are currently working, that I hear what works. Some of them are basics, but they respect the marketing cycle that we are covering. And so um, one of them is just your engagement. It's having a plan to create content or to put yourself out there consistently. It doesn't have to be every day, but it's consistent, right? But uh, it's more about staying top of mind when it comes to the interactions that you're making with people, right, with your audience. This doesn't have to be the people that follow you. This could be anybody. So this could be commenting on people's um, stories or posts, replying to them, sending them direct messages. This has nothing to technically do with real estate. Essentially, it's either knocking or opening that door of communication. And that's one way to really present yourself. It's really to try to align with them in a way that um, they'll just remember you, right? If someone has gone quiet, engagement definitely reopens that door without pressure. And so it's really important once you open that door that you try to stay consistent with it. Another one is creating content that's audience audience driven. And what this means is this can be from conversations that you have on a day-to-day basis, but really it's just if someone's talking about relocation, if someone's talking about you've heard someone talk about a specific community here in Arizona, it's doing that type of content. It's going over the market and explaining it. It's if people are asking you questions, you answer those questions with the content that you're actually creating. And the best content doesn't come um, from trends, right? It can if we're trying to go viral or if we're like on a mission to kind of do some of those crazy things on TikTok. Because obviously you get like those trending waves of posts and videos. I'm sure you've seen it, but technically, it doesn't come from those trends. It really comes from the conversations and being intentional with people. Another strategy is using long form content and repurposing it. So this could be anything, but like your day to day, this could be like going live, like doing something like this, right? And then repurposing small, different videos. It could be podcasts, it could be real conversations like testimonials. You don't technically need to create more, you just need to use what you already have better. So, like in the car, on a way to an inspection, like there's so many different things that you can be creating on your day to day that you don't realize, but it's really about pulling out the camera and doing it. That's the hardest part. So, um, in theory, I think short content helps you get attention, but longer content helps you also builds trust, right? And there's strategies for both, but either way, I think it's important to be able to do both. And that's where longer form content is really great for YouTube, right? Um, Another strategy is personal storytelling. Okay. People don't just work with agents because of the value that they bring. They work with people because they feel connected. You have done your job of marketing and they attract to the things that you like. Perfect example for myself. I am attracting a younger generation in our real estate business. I'm also attracting people that uh, admire and love to do health and fitness, right? Recently, I just signed up for an Ironman, and I'm continuously showing my day to day of the workouts that I'm doing, and the people that like that stuff are reaching out to me, and we're starting conversations. This is just a small example. I have a son, so people that have kids are constantly reaching out to me as well. It's just really about ultimately sharing your real life, which a lot of people in our industry struggle with that. But we live in a day and age where if you don't accept that your business is personal, then you won't be able to grow in a way that you truly want. Okay. So sharing your real life, sharing gratitude, maybe it's your faith or life experiences and lessons. Um, and it's not really oversharing, but it's just like sharing humility and just being human, right? Because we all go through things and are all the same thing, or all the same people. I had posted kind of like a humility post that I had experienced burnout near the end of the year last year. And I've had like four people already reach out to me and they're like, wow, you would have never knew. And so these are things that it's not to, you know, put yourself out there and make yourself as a victim, but you soon realize that there are other people that will relate to that message more. And another example is I was listening to a podcast and there's an agent out in, I think it's Dallas. She's going through breast cancer right now. And she was really, really scared to share her story and everything that is happening with her life ultimately. But when she did that, she created this amazing audience of people that she's never met or connected with. There's uh, people that don't know her that got to know her that have reached out to her, even that are not in Dallas itself, but that are relocating and are just saying, hey, you know, we love your story. We want to come and work with you when we do move to Dallas, but also we respect what you're going through. And so we're going to wait on your time. So you let us know when you're ready. And that's a beautiful thing, right? That for that agent to not have to feel rushed because of the things that she's going on, that she's going through in her life. But it's just like a little example like that that's really, really powerful. And that's ultimately just from being able to share your personal experience and story. Okay. Um, Another one is, of course, client stories. Creating a space for clients to share their stories. And this doesn't have to just be online presence, this could be offline too, right? Capturing reviews. But when people feel heard and seen, I truly believe that relationships can last longer and way more than any type of market update or value that we could bring to people. Um, Speaking of market update, that's another opportunity for you to, another strategy, right? And I don't think it's so much like sharing stats. One thing that I think the marketing that you put out there that we should really be intentional about are like the important updates that are happening and the questions that are being asked revolving around real estate, right? There's constantly things that are happening in our country that, whether it's unfortunately politically or other things that affect the way that the rates and the things that happen, and there's a lot of uncertainty and questions that uh, consumers or your audience may have. And I think it's really relevant for you to be able to share your perspective. It doesn't mean you have to be right, but for you to put yourself out there and share your expertise can really go a long way. That is a true market insight, not a market index of numbers, right? Because the numbers don't lie, but ultimately we don't hear these different types of perspectives. And I think it's really important that we're able to step out of our comfort zone. And if we're wrong, then we can also admit that, I was wrong on that. But it doesn't mean that you lack expertise. It's just something that we are all learning with the evolution of things that are continuously happening um, for our market or to our market. I hope that makes sense. Um, Another powerful strategy is I'm going to just say as much as I can here because I think there's so much strategies that people are missing out on, and I just keep hearing things as I'm meeting with new people um, to really plan your touches for the year. Okay, this also can be mailers, right? Man, I've met a team that ever since they started real estate, they've done mailer marketing every month consistently for the past 10 years, and it has allowed them to um, show up in a way that you wouldn't ultimately think uh, it would, right? And it's really just sharing market insight, right? Their perspective on where they think the market is going, and their feedback is, we always get your mailer, we always read it because it's always a question, or it's always an answer to a question that we're always having within that month of what's happening in our world, and what can happen to our real estate market. It's all perspective, way more than the stats, but also uh putting some valuable information about, things to do, events, and all those wonderful things. And just this alone is something that, like, our team at Landmark, all of our salespeople, we're able to help create those campaigns for you if you give us the opportunity to sit down with you. And uh, mail marketing can feel a little outdated, but I promise you, everyone checks their mail eventually. And if they see it, um, they know that you care, and it goes a very long way. So it's something that definitely, any type of marketing itself, but mailers alone is something you really need a budget for. But it's something, if you fit that into your marketing budget, it's something that definitely can go a long way. The next strategy is Popeyes, of course, being very intentional, whether you go to them or they come to you. What is a Popeye? It's just like a small, seasonal gift that you create, that is creative as well, right? That um, is small but creates like long-term impact, and can go a really long way. Like, there's no pressure when you're giving something, and sometimes it's not even a value. It's just, hey, I was thinking about you. I know a lot of um, businesses and realtors, lenders, they do, like, perfect example is like the pies for Thanksgiving. Maybe it's the ornaments for the Christmas time. There's just so many different um, cool ways to make your people feel appreciated. And sometimes it's not even have to be your people. It could be, at an event, right? Excuse me. And you have like these little goodies. It's still considered like a pop by. Um, we have tons of examples and things with our team here at Landmark as well. And so if you need ideas, that's something that's very budget friendly that you can do on a monthly or quarterly basis. But it's a great way to stay on top of mind and get more referrals. It's actually one of the um, marketing strategies that my team and I will be doing for a lot of the um, partners and just agents that we meet, to just kind of be more intentional with them and just allow them to feel that we're thinking about them. One of my favorite strategies are your client events. And I don't care how many clients you have. You could have 4 clients, you can have 2 clients. If you host a small client appreciation event, um, whether it's at the park, whether it is at um, the movie theater. These are the best ways to get your people, uh, to show them that you appreciate them. And ultimately, it's really just a great gathering. And the goal isn't technically to scale, it's to connect. And um, a great way to once again get more referrals. And every single time I've partnered with agents that do client appreciation events, they at least get one referral. I've done an event where an agent has received like 6 referrals, and like 4 of them ended up panning out to actually purchase or sell. And so, big investment. Sometimes it's really not a big investment, but it is a great one and it pays dividends. And this is where when you do events, whether it's client appreciation or community events, if you're working with a with our set with Landmark, if you're working with you know your preferred partners, no matter what they are, title, lender, home warranty, inspector, AC or HVAC, like you name it, and you're bringing them business, they will want to partner up with you, or I hope they would want to partner up with you because it gives them an opportunity to be in front of more people. Um, but make sure that you get one partner per industry. So one title, one lender. I've actually been to a client appreciation where there was two lenders involved, and it was a little awkward. But when you do one partner per industry, you actually set, those clear expectations, and it's really, like I said, it's really not about selling. It's just building community. And so these are like, I'm sure there's so much more that we can go over, but I just wanted to give you some ideas to really start off 2026. I want you to notice something, that none of these that strategies, everything that I talked about, I made sure that none of it was aggressive. None of it was complicated. It's really about being intentional and showing up to actually do those things, and none of it really relies on making your people feel uncomfortable and creating pressure. So it works because, like I said, it respects the marketing cycle, and it will definitely help you build trust in your business over time. So if marketing has feel overwhelming, here is my takeaway. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to do you don't need to do the right things consistently. You need to just be very visible, and you need to do things with purpose so that way you get remembered. And I would say out of these strategies, you definitely don't need to do all of them, but you need to do at least two to three of them very consistently to get results. Or maybe you just focus on one of them. But I think some of these strategies are quarterly, and so you can space them out accordingly to make sure that you are doing more than the average agent. Um, but that's all I really have for you today. I just want to thank, every single one of you that jumped on today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, and for trusting us here at Landmark to be a resource in your business. And of course, for all the um, escrows and title that you allow us to handle. If you have an escrow coming up and you have not had the opportunity to work with us, we would love that, to earn your trust and to handle your next closing. And if you want to business plan for the year end, you could reach out to myself or our team, our BD, business development managers here at Landmark. That's what we're here for. We're here to be your dedicated partner. We want to be involved with your business, and we want to help support you with the marketing, the structure, and the strategy, and of course, all your escrow and title needs. But reach out to your Landmark rep. We're here to support way beyond the closing table. Okay. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. And we look forward to working with you. And make sure you're on next week because, oh, hold on. I have a question real quick. Great information. Thank you, Michael. Happy New Year. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate it. Make sure you're on next week. I have a special guest. I'll probably announce it here soon. It is someone that was a realtor here in Arizona when I first got into the industry about 6 years ago. He was a top producing agent, and he moved out to Texas. Um, I'm going to butcher it if I tell you what city he is in. I'm trying to think what it is, but I don't remember. But anyways, he's built a brokerage. He has helped build and pastor a church to about 10,000. And I won't give you all the insights, but his story is beautiful. So I'll be interviewing him and his testimony is just great. You don't want to miss it. Okay, guys, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.